Okay, so today we are answering your questions, and we are going to try and answer them. I'm sure we won't hit everything, but go ahead and put your questions in and ask us your questions. While you guys are asking questions, Mike's going to get those going. I have some right here that we're going to run through real quickly, and I'm going to answer that I've gotten in emails, okay? So, don't forget to check out our Dining on a Dimes that are clearanced out. These are non-refundable, okay? So, well, yeah. So anyway, just so you know. But we just need to get the garage cleared, hopefully for the next shipment that we're going to get.
We don't know when.
Who knows? I have no idea when. But anyway. And Jack's question is, may I have a popsicle? Mom's answer is, you just had a slushie. No, you ding-a-lingle.
Yay.
Everybody like my Harrods cup? I actually got it at Harrods. See right here. Harrods, made in England right there. Isn't that cool? It's for our new Living on a Dime to Grow Rich theme. I just thought that was the cutest thing ever.
I have a
About
picture
the only
of
thing
her.
I could afford at Harrods at the moment, but I got something from Harrods.
Well, I also have a picture of you in front of, what was that? Kath Kidson in Dublin?
Kath Kitson. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me go through these questions. You guys post your questions in the comments, and Mike will grab them, and I will go through them when I get here. Okay. My question is, how do you feel about portion control diets like Nutrisystem, etc.? Not necessarily the particular brand, but the idea. I have thought about giving these companies a try because you're not as tempted to overeat as, say, cooking your own food and measuring. They are expensive. What is you and Jill's opinion? Gimmick or expensive quick fix? It is an expensive quick fix. It's a great idea, but I would rather have you go... First of all, I'd rather have you
do it yourself.
Use Dining on a Dime cookbook and make your own pre-portioned meals. Super easy. Just get some little containers, make up one dinner, double, triple it, put them in the containers and freeze them or put them in the fridge. The next day, make a different dinner, do the same thing.
All the silverware disappeared.
All the silverware disappeared. It's on the chair. So, if you don't have time or the energy to even do that, I would rather have you go to the grocery store and get a TV dinner like Smart Ones or something that are $1 or $2. Those are still a quarter of the price of what a system like that would be. So I give you permission to go get TV dinners. If you just can't make up your own, that's fine. But would I use those systems? No. They're nice, but no.
Dale was asking, based on your previous thing, how do we get the book? So I'm sharing the link in the comments, and it's also in the description. But you can go to livingonadime.com and click store, and it's right there. But also there's a little link that says, hey, if you want a slightly imperfect one for $15, click here.
Yep.
So you can choose which you prefer. So.
Okay. I have a topic suggestion. What do you think about tipping? I've heard so many different opinions on tippings, restaurants, delivery, takeout, hairdresser, etc. Also, do you skip or reduce the tip for bad service? Okay. I absolutely hate tipping. I think it is American custom that should be done away with.
Oof.
I think waiters and waitresses should just be paid for their job. I think hairdressers should be just paid for their job. I do not tip a hairdresser if she owns her own salon. To me, I don't know. It just is ridiculous. But anyway, I do tip. We do tip well. If there is bad service, we either give a very small tip or don't tip at all. There's no excuse for bad service. So that's my 2 cents on that. My question is, what are each of your family members' favorite recipes from the cookbook, and which is your favorite dinner recipe to make? Dave's favorite recipe is...
Cheeseburger rolls.
Cheeseburger rolls. Do you have a favorite recipe from the cookbook, Jack?
Actually,
He's thinking.
your fudge brownies are getting up there.
My fudge brownies are getting up there, too.
Yeah.
Dining on Dime cookbook, cheeseburger rolls and fudge brownies. Those are Dave's. What's yours?
Well, I've always had the chicken fried steak.
Mm-hmm.
But it is fried, so
Yeah,
I also
fried steak.
Well, the other day didn't I tell you I really love the green chili?
Yep, Mike, and I would say green chili's mine.
The green chili's really good because if you don't feel good or
Is that
something,
chicken?
It's kind of like a little more perky of a chicken soup,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. Jack's is sweet and sour chicken. The sweet and sour sauce is in here. So those are
that's
ours.
a very good one too. Dude,
Dave said that's a very good one too. Yeah.
You can't really choose a specific thing you like the most.
You can't. Oh, Dad, that's a testimonial.
What did
He
he
can't
say?
choose the specific recipe he likes the most
Except for
because they're
cheeseburger
so
rolls.
wonderful.
Those always prevail.
Okay, what are your thoughts on keeping... Oh, one last question. If you go to a potluck, what dish do you bring? I usually bring either coleslaw, Jack stop handing, or deviled eggs. Those are the two things that I usually take to a potluck. I will also take my broccoli salad occasionally. Those things are fairly easy. Everybody loves my coleslaw. Actually, it's my grandma's coleslaw recipe in here. Everybody loves my deviled eggs. And those are usually easy and something you can make up ahead of time. What are your thoughts on keeping a preserved wedding dress in a big clunky box taking up room in the closet? I think I have only kept it because I feel I'm supposed to, what's expected by others tradition. Looking back on it, I would have sold it immediately. Who cares? I love my husband and keeping it has no bearing on our marriage. Am I heartless not to keep something so sentimental? The year is 2000. No, I don't think you're heartless to get rid of it. I mean, if you want to have somebody make a quilt out of it or something like that, then that's fine. You can keep it. But most daughters don't want to wear their mother's wedding dresses nowadays. People can afford their own wedding dresses, and so it's not like you need it for tradition or anything. I say, let it go. Shall we sing? Let it go, let it go. You don't need that wedding dress
Disney is ruthless, Mom.
anymore.
The
Okay.
problem is some things just you feel guilty about, but there's no reason to feel guilty.
No, there's no reason.
There are things I saved. That was not a wedding dress, but there are things I saved that I thought, oh, the kids are going to love this. They don't care at all.
Yes. Okay. What? No. I take it you're hungry. Eat a granola bar or something. He just had a bowl of cereal. I would love for you to do a video about kids and cell phones. I know you've mentioned before that your kids don't get one until they're paid for themselves. I am in the midst of this right now. My 14-year-old daughter has asked for a smartphone for Christmas. She sees all her friends with one and desperately wants one too. I have tried to explain that the phone is expensive and the monthly service plans cost even more. She just doesn't get it. I'm sticking to my guns, but boy is it hard to go against the rest of the world. I also have 13-year-olds, so we're getting pressure from two of them now. I would love to hear some encouraging words because all around us is mass consumerism. I love your videos, by the way. I have tried to get new friends on board, but people are so defensive about their spending. But keep up what you're doing. Many people are listening. Thank you. So here's our 2 cents. I don't care how much they're whining about it. Until they're 16 and driving and have a job, our kids don't get it, period.
Well,
They pay for it themselves, and there's no reason for you to be paying for something that your children don't need.
and I have to say, we have never heard, I really, really want one, I really want one. And, I think the difference is that we have made it absolutely clear we're not movable at all on this.
Yeah.
And if you seem uncertain, they will try to chip away at you until they break you.
Yeah. And who cares what other parents think? Let's see. They're in debt up to their eyeballs. They can't pay their bills. Their kids are spoiled brats. Sorry, I don't want to live like those people because they are living in stress because they're giving in on things on the cell phone. So don't let it bother you. Stick to your guns. You're doing a great job. All right, let's see. Do you teach how to pay off your mortgage early? She's wondering if we do consultation. I do private consultations if the person is really interested in doing that. If that's something you're interested in, you can email me, editor@livingonadime.com. I'm not cheap, but I will save you money. So, let's see. My husband and I live on Social Security. We have 2 car payments. Lowest payment I've doubled up on and will be paid off in 3 months. I'll do the same thing with the other car. Do you teach how to pay off your mortgage early? Okay, if you guys are wondering, we're answering questions today. Please put them in the comments and Mike's going to grab them after I get done with these. Here's the thing. When the cars are paid off, take all that money and start dumping it on your mortgage. Those income tax refund checks, those unexpected utility checks, that elliptical, that exercise bike you sold that you hadn't planned on, all that money dumps on your mortgage. Now, make sure you write it on the line that says principal payment, extra principal payment. We just did a whole show on this about 4 or 5 months ago when we paid off our house, but put all your money on the extra principal payment, okay? Don't just make another payment because they'll just do that for next month. Make sure it goes to the principal. Okay.
We've had them try to persuade us to do it that way before, too.
Yeah, the insurance company put it on there wrong, or I mean, the mortgage company put it on there wrong, and I think they do that on
When
purpose.
I called to dispute it, they said,
Yeah.
well, don't you want to not have to make a payment next month?
Yeah.
Like, no,
And-
that's not the point.
And you call and dispute it and make sure that they entered it correctly, because I think they purposely try to do that. Okay. Why are you careful? Okay. I am really impressed with both of you, and especially because of your faith. Thank you. But I am just curious why you have to be so careful with money in light of book sales. Because the point of living on a dime is to save money in areas that you don't care about so that you can spend the money on areas that you do care about and do it debt-free. So for us, we buy 95% of our clothes from thrift stores for $3 to $4. We don't allow our kids to have cell phones until they pay for them. We don't buy new cars ever. We pay $5,000 or less for most of our cars. We did pay $7,000 one time for a van, or $6,000 for a van one time. We don't go on expensive vacations every single year. Yeah, we just took 7 weeks to go to Europe, but guys, we had spent 25 years where we had only gone on a couple of vacations. So we don't go to Disneyland every year and spend $10,000 going to Disneyland. So the whole reason we are careful is because we want all that money now to go to our retirement and for things that we want to do with. Other things so we can do it with cash, okay? My daughter is hopeless with money. If she has it, she spends it. Then she can't afford to buy milk for her baby, clothes for themselves, food even. Bills are a nightmare when they come through the door. I've tried to sort her out, believe me. We have this conversation all the time. I am always bailing her out. I feel I have no choice because of my little grandson, but I live on Social Security too. I am severely disabled and unable to work anymore. I am at the point where I need to spend money on myself and my home. I need a new bed. Mine is falling apart. I need a carpet in my bedroom and my kitchen is falling apart. What do I do? You stop enabling her. Sorry, but as long as you are going to continue to give her money, she is not going to spend that money on her child. She's going to spend it blowing it. So you are enabling her. There are major issues going on here if you are continually bailing her out. It is not your responsibility to bail her out. Your grandson will be fine once mom realizes this is going to be my responsibility, but it's not your responsibility to take care of the grandson, and you go buy that new carpet for your bedroom. All right. My husband works for the FAA. When the government shut down, I suggested he send an email with links to your website and videos for those needing help. He received a lot of responses from people thanking him for the information. Well, that was really nice of him.
Awesome.
Thank you. I went into war mode and cut everything we didn't need to live. In my lifetime, I've done without, so I know what to do. We can go from 2 to 4 months if necessary, but there are people who make more than my husband and they struggle because they don't know what to do in this situation. Thank you for what you do. You make a difference. Thank you for that comment. That
Yes,
was just
thanks.
a really nice comment there. Thank you very much. Okay. I just wanted to send y'all a note to know. By the way, guys, put your comments in here or your questions in here. We're going to get to it. I just wanted to let y'all know that your YouTube channel has been so encouraging.
Yay.
My husband and I are battling to pay off $63,000 in debt and student loans before the end of this year. We have been comparing ourselves with other people around us, thinking that since we don't have credit cards and we had to pay $40,000 in student loans last year, that we are doing good. But this is insane. We cut out eating in January and went from $1,200 a month in food to $600. I know this is still too much, but we're making progress. This month, we cut that down to $400, and then I found your channel yesterday, and I think we can cut that in half. Just means a lot to hear people say we can do this, and the only thing stopping us is ourselves. Just wanted to reach out and say thank you for fresh hope. Christy, you are welcome. And this email was quite a while ago, so I hope Christy has got her grocery budget down. And in case you guys are wondering, we spend about $100 per person, and I'm not being super careful on my grocery. I mean, I'll still buy things like goldfish and chips, so we're not being extra super careful. Okay, now, questions for today. Did we have enough time to get some questions in there?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of questions in there.
Okay.
First of all, a lot of people are loving on your pretty top.
Oh, thank you.
They want to know, is it new?
It's new. Okay, I bought it in Ireland. I don't usually buy new clothes. Everything's thrift store.
Was that in Dingle or?
Yeah, but I saw this in Dingle, Ireland, and I was like, oh, I love that. I do have to say, I loved the clothes in Europe way more than our clothes here. And I wish I could have got myself a whole new wardrobe, but that's beside the point. Okay. Yes, somebody asked if I'm the author of the Diana the Kind cookbook. Yes, my mother and I both wrote it. All right.
Melissa is asking, what does print book version mean? Is that a book that you print off, or how much? It's one that it's actually we've printed it.
Yeah, it's a hard copy book physical book that you actually get.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some people were asking about shipping. It's the same shipping price as the other books. And if you would like to know, you can add it to the cart and put your address in, and it'll tell you.
Jolene, yes, 7 weeks in Europe was on a dime.
Let's see. So we have a bunch of stuff. Tell us about painting the cabinets.
Tell you about painting the cabinets. I'm planning on doing it. Okay, so this is like a horrid nightmare that's not going to go away for a really long time. Okay, here's the thing. If you decide to do a project like this, just be prepared for your whole life to be completely turned upside down with your kitchen, okay? It is probably going to, my kitchen is fairly small. It's probably going to take me a good 3 to 4 weeks full to get it totally done. Is it going to be worth it? Yes. I did TSP to clean all the cabinets. I did deglosser to get the coating off. I did a primer, which is Zinsser's, and I started with a Home Depot paint, and I quickly realized that was a nightmare mess. So I went to Benjamin Moore and got Advance paint, and that's working much better, but I just discovered today that I'm going to have to put 3 coats on it, which is very frustrating for me because it really hurts my fibromyalgia doing these projects. So I'm a little frustrated. Is it going to be worth it? Yes. Considering it's about a $200 kitchen makeover for an entire kitchen makeover, I would save myself probably $10,000 getting new granite countertops and getting new kitchen cabinets. So for $200, I'm thinking I'm doing a good deal. So, yep. Okay, next question.
Oops, sorry. How did the cookies come out with using the Cheerios?
They were great.
Awesome.
The kids loved them. Yep, the kids loved them.
And you already talked about this?
Yep. Yes, Jack's glasses are new. How's the house hunting going? We are looking but not planning on going anywhere for probably a year or two unless a good deal just comes up. We're trying to save up the cash to pay cash for everything.
And that kind of answers your question, Mary. We did just pay it off, and we don't want to get another mortgage, so we want to hang on to it till we can.
But we want to move. We want to move just because a studio would be really nice. It's super, super hard doing the show in our kitchen. When I'm done with the show, the kitchen is a disaster, and I don't feel like cleaning it up, and it usually stays till the next morning because Mike's helping with homework, and the kids are doing homework and stuff. So,
and even though she looks radiant on the show, she completely crashes afterwards.
I completely crash, yeah.
And we usually, Dave and I, set up a bunch of equipment and break down the equipment every single show, and usually clean up all the other stuff.
Yeah. You said you might be going to jail. Why? Josie, go back and look on Monday's show. I explain everything there.
Not.
Okay. Do you make your curtains? Yes, I made those curtains behind me. I made your meatloaf. Don't know what happened. It was soft. What did I do wrong? Did you add too many? It sounds like you added too much liquid. Are you sure you measured your liquid right? That would be the thing that I would think of. When are we doing podcasts? I have about 10 recorded with Mom and Grandma, and it's on Mike's to-do list, but with this whole printer issue, everything got pushed back. Yeah, it's been a huge mess, but if it works, we've got something super spectacular coming up that we're really super excited for.
On the printer.
And it will be worth the 3 weeks Mike's been working on it to do it. But we're not mentioning...
Thankfully, that part is done.
Yeah, we're not mentioning anything in case
It doesn't work out.
the printer doesn't work out.
Janice loved the egg rolls.
Yay!
They are so awesome. Turid made 6 kilograms of soap tonight.
Turid,
Woo, that's
wow.
a ton of soap.
Linda, have we tried moringa? I don't know if Mom has, but I have, and it didn't do anything for me. For those of you wondering, moringa is a supplement that is a leaf that they grind up that helps with pain. You might try it, but yeah. Okay.
Stephanie made the 3-ingredient chicken.
Yum.
Italian that when we did on the show last week.
Eleanor, yes, we ship to Canada, but it is $15 or $16 shipping to Canada. Sorry,
That's what the post office charges, yeah.
We don't go over. That's just what the post office charges.
If you add to the card, it'll tell you for sure the cost to your
Amy,
location.
when will you get the book that you won on Monday? Because of my kitchen mess, I have not been able to get out to the garage to get those shipped yet, but I'm going to ship them tomorrow, and it takes up to 10 days to get there. Marilyn, my cooking videos will come back with my new kitchen in 3 weeks or so. Dave's announcement yet. They are having a problem.
We're not talking about it.
David, they're having a problem with the company, and so they have had to delay it. But as soon as it comes out, we will let you guys know.
So they're not sure
how short are the springs on the Imperfect cookbooks? So some of them are cut so that the page will occasionally pop off the end, but it's not a big deal. You just have to twist it back around. It's no big deal.
Basically, you have to bend the corner to be like a little L shape.
All right. With the old style Betty Crocker metal binding work for the new thick book? Possibly. Here's the problem we're having with the binding, guys. Our book is too big. So we just are now realizing that because our printer wasn't communicating with us very well. Can you grab more comments?
Do metal binding like that?
So it might work, but we have looked into another metal binding and the book just fell down. It was a mess. So we're working on that. What is Harrods? Harrods is the most expensive department store in the world, I think. I don't know if it's the world, but it's a really expensive department store in London where all the fancy schmancy people go.
Oh,
so
Terry wanted to ask, the wreath is very pretty that is behind you. Did you make that?
I did. Thank you very much. Yes, I did.
Sandra, changing our mind on moving out of the country. We weren't actually going to move for like a long time, but we thought we'd maybe try to go for 6 months or a year. In the end, we kind of adjusted that and we just went out of the country for a couple months.
Yeah.
This summer. So,
When you had 2 businesses, cookbook and soap, did you roll them all into one or did you keep them separated? So we had them all in one until we wanted to see if I was going to make a go of it. My original plan was to dump Living on a Dime and do soap. Didn't work out like I thought, so we had it all as one.
And and it's an EIN that we use because it's a sub-S corporation.
Okay.
So, yes.
I was having problems with my tomatoes that are growing this year. I have tomatoes that are not ripening on the plant. Some are getting red and some are just staying green. What am I doing wrong? I have no idea on that one. That's a new one on me. But you can take the green ones, put them in a box, cover them with a sheet of newspaper, and they will ripen in 2 or 3 weeks. Do I know anything about Social Security's Ticket to Work program? I mean, no, not really, but you can research that on Google for yourself. How is my brother doing? I hope he has had some progress with medical appointments. He has not, and he is getting worse, but at this point, he's just kind of waiting to collapse, and, it's just been really rough for him. So, yeah, he's not really actually doing very well. Deborah, how did you discipline the kids when they are little without losing it yelling?
Oh, sorry, did I take it away from you?
I have a stubborn 4-year-old that is having a lot of trouble listening to me and his dad. Okay, so first of all, stop yelling and start whispering. Your kids listen to you when you whisper. So if you go, yeah, all they do is tune you out. But if you go, look me in the eye right now, I am talking to you. You smacking your brother with your toy is not okay. So you are going to go apologize to your brother, and then you are going to sit in the corner until I tell you to get up. And if you make a noise in the corner before the timer goes off, you are going to sit there longer. Okay? So when you do it that way, they actually listen to you. So that is how we do it. I lost my cool with my kids maybe twice, but I don't really lose my cool with my kids because I'm the parent. They're not the ones in charge of me. I'm in charge of them. If they don't do what I tell them, their lives are going to be miserable. How are they going to be miserable? No computer, no TV, no playing with their friends. They're going to sit in the corner. They're going to sit in the room, in my room, on the bed. Anything that will make them miserable, yes, you have to keep doing it over and over again. That's just the way kids are.
Well, and one of the things that worked really well was having them just sit. And when they're little, when they're 4, you don't make them sit for half an hour. You make them sit for 5 minutes. But they sit for 5 minutes, and if they get up and misbehave again, or if they don't make it through the 5 minutes, then they have to sit longer, and eventually they get tired of that.
Yeah. Kathy, what are your thoughts on trying Dinnerly or HelloFresh? The meals, they say they are so affordable. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. I am serious. $8 a person is a deal, and you have to cook it all? Are you kidding me? I'm actually going to be doing a show on this. My problem is I have not got up the whatever to pay $50 for us 4 to 6 people dinner. It's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah. Okay.
Oh, let's see.
All right. Hope your son... How is your son that went to Mayo? What are suggestions did they give, and did they help? Concern, thank you. We went, basically they didn't help. He's been doing some things on his own with diet and exercise, but he still really isn't feeling that much better. He's just trying to keep the stress down and that kind of thing. What is an inexpensive 1-dish meal for 20 people, church or small group? You could do deviled eggs, you could do coleslaw, you could make a broccoli salad, you could do, something like brownies or cookies or anything like that. Is Ellie still living at home? She is at the moment, but she is planning on moving out soon. What would you say would be a good job for a stay-at-home parent, Francis? Well, you could do a lot of things. We've did several videos on side hustles. Just go to our search bar on YouTube and type in side hustles, and you can see all of those videos. Let's see. How do you catch up on your mortgage when you are behind? You put everything you can on that. If you need to get a second or third job, you go get it. If mom is a stay-at-home mom, dad work during the day, mom work in the evening, you may just have to do it, and it's not going to be pleasant, but do it for 6 months or a year and get yourself caught up so that you're not continually going back behind.
And really, if you're behind on your mortgage, or if you're behind on really any bills, that's the time to say we're not going to do anything extra. Like we're not going to.
No eating
we're
out.
Never going to eat out. We're never going to see a movie. We're never going to do that until the bills are caught up.
Yeah.
Once you're caught up and you're paying off debt, it may be okay to do that sometimes, but even then, not so much.
Let's see, Jeannie. Some people think it's just $20 and that won't make a difference if I save that, but they need to realize that if they save $20 10 times, they will have $200. Yes. It's all those coffees, guys. I know the financial people keep saying, stop drinking all the coffees. The problem is, when you go to Starbucks 2 to 3 times a day or even once a day, that is thousands of dollars. Once a day is over $3,000 a year. Yes. So, yeah.
Oh, did you say this or to somebody else? Cheryl says, great idea to make a quote for my wedding dress. Is that okay?
Okay. Let's see. Because of you guys, we have paid our house down to $10,000 in 6 months.
Yes.
Good job.
Thanks for letting us know, little dragonfly. Great job.
Tara, suggestions for having a baby on a budget. Yeah. Actually, my grandma and I just recorded a video on this about my mom being born in the 50s and how they lived in a trailer, a 15-foot trailer with no bathroom and cloth diapers. And let me tell you, 95% of the stuff that you need for babies, you really don't need. You need a good car seat, of course. Anything at Walmart is fine, but I'm just saying, probably I wouldn't get a used car seat. You're going to need a stroller, and you're going to need diapers. I used cloth diapers for my first 2. It's totally doable. We have an article at livingonadime.com. Type in cloth diapers. You can find that. But really, you don't need 9/10 of what people think they do. So,
Sorry.
all
I
right.
was looking at-
My $16-year-old daughter is at her first job interview right now. Can you send her some good vibes? You go, Jennifer's daughter. She can do it.
Yay.
Cheryl, my house is all electric. Any idea what would be a cheap hot heating alternative that isn't a kerosene heater? Just make sure your heat is turned down. In the winter, it doesn't need to be 78 degrees in your house. Mom's heat is like 55. I think that's a little low, but you can go down to 65 and wear a sweater and just don't be wearing sweatshirts. So, next one. Did you see my message that I recently... Oh, you're welcome, Barbara. I'm glad you got your quick and easy menus. Yay! Lynn, since cooking with Living on a Dime cookbook, or Dining on a Dime right here, I normally grocery shop once a week and drink is needed this... Oops, Mike went
Only
off
drink
the
what's
thing.
needed this week and so happy.
Yay, good for you.
Thank you.
Do you have any recipe for single guys who are too old and ugly to get a date? Oh, come on. Give yourself some credit. I bet you're not. Yes. Just half or quarter of the recipes. You don't need to do anything special. Mom and I were talking about this the other day. When I was single, it didn't even occur to me about making single recipes. I just made myself some hamburger, and then I made myself a taco one night, and then I put it in for like a stew the next night, or a beef soup, hamburger type soup. You could do hamburger gravy then the third night. So stop thinking that you have to make a whole entire recipe just to cook for one. Just cut it down and use your meat for several different things. Let's see. Is it a good deal? $3.99 a pound with free 5 pounds potatoes, 1 pound of carrots, 2 pounds of onions. Okay, well, I don't
Quite understand it.
I'm not quite understanding the question, but I spend about $1 or less a pound on all my fruits and vegetables. Our favorite recipe is chicken parmesan tenders. I put them in the air fryer. Oh, that
You
is
should
great.
try that in the air fryer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thanks, Tracy.
Do I believe in public education? No. I think it's ruining our children, and I think that the teachers union has completely messed up our school system. That is my story. I do have one in public school, and I do have one homeschooled right now, but I'm just going to say that for now. I have zero faith in the public school system. That's me. Sorry. I know there are some great teachers. I totally get that, but But I will say, we have dealt with probably 100 or more teachers in the 15 years that we've had kids in school, and we have maybe had 4 or 5 teachers that were really good teachers. The rest, I'm like, it is no wonder our public school system is failing, but that's a whole nother thing. So anyway, all right, my saying to my kids is dare to be different. Yes. Why be like everyone else? Yep, that's very true, Teresa. I put a percentage of all my book royalties and other freelance income on our mortgage. It's amazing how it adds up. Yes, it is. Any tips on spending money on Christmas gifts for adults versus children? Also, how much would you recommend saving? So we spend about $100 per kid for Christmas and about $50 per adult for Christmas. That is the highest we've ever spent. If the kids are about 7 and under, I would say if they're about 3 to 7, we'll do about $25 for Christmas. 3 and under, $10 for Christmas. Really, kids 3 and under don't really know a whole lot about Christmas anyway, so you don't need to spend a ton. A lot of our toys and stuff came from thrift stores and garage sales. Yes. Do you need something?
No.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm feeling pressure about the cell phone, even from my daughter's teachers. Currently, she had an old phone, Wi-Fi only, no actual phone line. I thought that was a good compromise. I say you're doing fine. My kids wouldn't even have one. My kids are like one of the only kids in school who don't have a cell phone, and I don't care.
Well,
sorry. I mean,
and somebody the other day said that I think she said her daughter was diabetic or something like that, and that would maybe be a good reason. But generally, most kids don't need a cell phone. Parents freak out when the kids don't have a cell phone and they can't reach them in school.
Yep.
But they don't need a phone.
Yeah. And along with that, Stephanie says, did all of our kids buy a phone when they started working? BJ did. Ellie did.
She almost did it.
She really didn't want to. David has been working for 4 months now, and he has not gotten one yet. I don't know.
No plan to.
In the near future, he just said. So,
Ellie, we kind of wanted to be able to get in touch with her when she was away at work in another city. And if she didn't know it, but if she hadn't got herself a phone, we looked at these flip phones that had, it was like a limited number of minutes for, you pay it one time, and then until the minutes are used up, you don't pay anymore. And we almost were going to give her one of those because she can't sit and text and send pictures to her friends and stuff.
Okay.
On our bill for that.
Is it a way to save money to drop your landline and do your cell phone instead? Yes. The only thing I would say on that is if you have little kids at home that occasionally stay by themselves that don't have a cell phone, then I would keep your landline. Like if your 12-year-old is at home by themselves and they don't have a cell phone and you take yours. But other than that, I think that's a great way. I wouldn't have both a cell phone and a landline. Nowadays, cell phones are really good. So... do you still buy our glasses online? What place do you recommend? Yes, we do. Zenni Optical, Zenni, optical.com. We just got glasses 2 days ago from there. So, And how are they working?
Good.
There you go.
Although, I now have glasses for close, glasses for far, and glasses for in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
3 different.
Yeah.
So, All
right. What is your suggestion for saving on car insurance? I pay $39 a month.
Or $93.
$93 a month. What coverage do you suggest, liability or full coverage? So it depends on your car. Now, I will say here in Colorado, we've had so much hail lately that we have full coverage on all our car, and our cars have been completely paid for with hail damage by the insurance company. Now, Mom in Kansas has not had as much hail as we have, and she only has comp on hers. If you are able to keep your cars parked, in the garage, that kind of thing, or you don't have as much hail, I would say just get liability if you have an older car. But nowadays, the hail is getting bad enough that I would say I would have full coverage. It's not a whole lot more for us to have full coverage over liability.
Although I don't know how many people are on there. $93 a month for us would be pretty outrageous.
Yeah.
When we got
shop around.
Because the two of us together, it was like $200 for 6 months. Mm-hmm. But when we added the teenagers, then it suddenly bloomed into this huge amount. And we're still kind of in the mix on that.
How much would you spend for groceries for 2? My husband is vegetarian. Will you be adding more vegetarian recipes? I would say $100 a month per person is a liberal food budget. So, yep. Okay, how do you handle birthdays and Christmas with children? The oldest are 16 and 22. Is there a time to cut back on what you give? So, now it's at the point where our older kids just want money because they're saving for bigger things. So we just give them the $100 cash instead of buying them.
But Tara wraps it in cutesy ways. We have a video about that on our channel, on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. So, just pick whatever budget you need, and then you can do it for that. Gift cards. I don't really like gift cards. I would rather just give my kids cash and let them spend it on whatever they want because gift cards get lost and people forget to use them. And I just don't do that. How much did you spend on the 7 weeks while you were traveling? We did a whole video on that, but it was about $500 per person per week. What do you think is a decent price for a cell phone plan? You're just going to have to shop around, but around $50 to $70 depending on your area for just the service is what it seems to be. What are your thoughts on tithing, Joanne? I think that if you are a Christian and you have financial problems, you cannot not afford not to tithe. I don't care how bad your financial problems are and how good your financial problems are. God will always take care of you if you tithe. And we have always tithed all the time. That first 10%, no matter what bill was coming in, no matter what bill was sitting on the desk, we did not pay that bill before we would pay our tithe. We always paid our tithe first. Are you guys Christians? Yes, we are. We are evangelical Christians. We go to Evangelical Free Church. It's a denomination, but it's a little bit more on the non-denominational side. But yeah.
We wouldn't really peg ourselves in a specific denomination.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on refinancing a home rather than selling the current one in order to downsize and pay more towards debt? So here's the thing on refinancing. A lot of time, you are charged like $3,000 to refinance that loan. So I'm thinking, okay, instead of refinancing, why don't you just put that $3,000 that you would have paid on the loan? But I mean, if you can sell your house and get something smaller, then that's fine. You know, I would do that. So, do you think 3 months of living expenses is good before tackling our mortgage, or do you recommend 6? Well, 6 is really good. I mean, I would really do 6 if you can, because then if something happens with your job or somebody gets disabled or something, that's a really good cushion, and you don't have to panic if you lose your job. You know you can live for 6 months. But a compromise to that would be, you know, if you've got 3 months, put half of it on your mortgage and half of it in savings. You know, you could do something like that. So.
We already answered this one. Okay.
All right.
Haven't tried a recipe from the Dining on a Dime cookbook I didn't like. Thank you, Homestead Remembrance.
Yay. That's great.
And if you don't have the cookbook, we do currently have a sale on Imperfect copies.
Yep.
So it's the same book. It's just the covers have a little bit of scuffing or whatever.
So we had 300 copies that the printer messed up. That Dave and I had to pick through all 1,500 books. We were not happy. Dave was not real happy. I'm like, I know. But the laminate got scuffed, and sometimes the binding was cut short or long. And so those are Imperfect books. They are on sale for $15 right now on livingonadime.com. Go to the store. And if you see Dining on a Dime cookbook, there's a red line that says, check out our Imperfect book. It's right there.
Don't we have the recipe for this on the website?
How do you make sweet and sour chicken, please? I found the sauce in the recipe, but no recipe for the chicken. So what I do is I just cut up the chicken and just fry it in a little bit of oil. Now, the full recipe is going to be coming in our next new totally different cookbook, More Dining on a Dime, I think is what we're going to call it. I don't know. But our next cookbook, which is going to be working on as soon as we can get our printer issues figured out, that recipe is going to be in there also.
It's also on the website, it looks like.
It is on the website. Mike will share a link real quick here, and we will get to the next question. Okay.
I can't do the link in the question.
Are you ready to save for retirement? Will you invest in yourself or go through an investor? We will probably do it ourselves.
Yep.
And do something. So for retirement, we have our house completely paid off and we are already debt free. And people often criticize us for not putting money in retirement. But let me tell you, if you are totally debt free, that is like half of what you need to retire. Okay? Because if you're having to put all this money in retirement to support all this debt you have, like a mortgage and credit cards and cars, this is not rocket science, people. Get it together. Get your debt paid off before you retire. Then you don't have to save so much money for retirement, okay? Not to mention all that interest is going down the toilet. Dave thinks I should slap the table.
Do it.
All right. What is BJ's new job? He sells internet service here for an internet company. Okay. How high? Bridget says she tells her husband that we are the best.
Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you. That's hilarious.
Oh, is Out of Goshen on? I see somebody saying hi, Out of Goshen. If you're here, hi.
Guys.
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's see.
Our cell plan right now with our cell phones, we're doing about $45 a month for the phones. We're about to change to one that's $50, and then there's a $70 plan. For if we need to stream video, we might have to do the $70, but the $50 is Probably about the best we've seen,
Yeah.
$45 or $50.
Kelly.
Except in Europe, it's awesome.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Monday's show topic. I love it because it aggravates the trolls. God is good. They tried to take you down, but it backfired. Love seeing good things happen to good people. You are welcome.
Thank
yes.
you, Kelly.
We can always tell when it's going to be a great show because absolutely everything goes wrong. And so, yeah. Jessica, thanks so much for all you do. Mike and Tara, y'all are a huge blessing to me. I'm also chronically ill, and your channel is hugely helpful and inspiring.
Yay.
And a piece of sanity in an insane world. I tell you, I just have to say, I think people have plumb lost their minds. I have to tell you, I put a video out on Facebook like 3 days ago about how I put press and seal on the top of my kitchen cabinets to keep it from getting dusty and greasy up there, and then I just roll the press and seal up and throw it in the trash. More than half of the comments, more than half, were, well, why didn't you take care of that fly before you started filming? Well, I didn't know there was a fly, okay? And it decided to buzz me as I was doing this. I'm sorry. Get over it. The other one is, well, that's a lot of trash. That's just that's just not environmentally friendly. How dare you throw that away and add more to our landfill?
Because we don't care.
Word. Take a laxative. Seriously, I do not go out for coffees. We do not go out to eat. I buy 95% of my items used. Save on all that packaging. I'm going to throw away 8 feet of press and seal. The other things were, well, I use newspaper. I use paper towel. Here's the thing, guys. I use the press and seal because of the way my cabinets were. I needed something that would stick a little bit. Secondly, I don't spend money on a newspaper, so I don't just have newspapers laying around. I think if you have a newspaper, that's a totally great deal. Another idea was tea towels. I think that's a great deal. But as far as environmentally friendly goes, you're still using water to wash and soap to wash all those tea towels. So stop getting all over the environmental stuff and just start doing things with moderation. The other thing was, and it just went out of my head. Let's see, what was it? Oh, and other people said, well, why don't you just wipe it off the top? Okay, my cabinets are not finished on top. So they're like this little prickly wood stuff on top. I can't just wipe it off. And I'm not going to waste paint going up there and the energy to paint all of that because it would take like 4 coats to get it smooth. So I think people have lost their minds. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all and just shut your mouth. It doesn't really matter. It was just a tip.
If you don't like it, don't take it. That's the short version.
You don't have to use all the
short version.
Well, you don't have to use all the tips. I mean, these are tips. Use what you can and don't use what you can't. It's like, oh my goodness. So, yeah.
Somebody asked us, how do we get Susie, how do you get your glasses adjusted?
So I just go to Walmart where our eye doctor is and just ask them to adjust it. But usually I just adjust them myself. So.
But when we were in Ireland, we had, I think a lens was falling out of your glasses or something. And we just went into a glasses shop there and they charged like €5 or something to do it for us. So. Yeah.
This lamp here I got for $3 at the thrift store. Yep. Oh, Susie, hubby retires tomorrow. Yay!
Yay!
You go. Best thing is I am not afraid, following lots of your tips, and it really helps.
Yay!
You go.
Thank
That's
you.
Great. Why not wear sweatshirts?
I wasn't sure what
I
that was.
have no idea what you're asking, Pamela.
Since it was all caps, I figured maybe you said something about that.
Tom, I have been watching your channel. I stopped smoking and drinking. I figured that I am now saving $11,304 per year. Woo! What to do with the new riches? You get that house paid off and you retire in style. There you go. Yay, that's great. Okay. Do I know a really cheap laxative recipe? Yes. You take that magnesium or you take the prunes or take the apple juice.
I was wondering if we put it in the new book.
I think that needs to be the name of my new book. Take a laxative, people.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Well, yeah.
Tara, you have beautiful skin. What skin products do you use? Sorry about the spelling of your name. That is okay. Mom and I did a whole video on that. If you go back and type in, I think, makeup routine or skincare routine.
It's if you
on
go to our
YouTube.
YouTube channel,
Yeah, on YouTube.
Living on a Dime.
But
to Grow Rich.
basically, I use baby shampoo with activated charcoal for my face wash. I use olive oil for my moisturizer that has sunscreen in it. And then I just use Maybelline cream foundation.
This is not expensive.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, mind their own business. Oh my goodness. I like your hacks. Oh, thanks.
I personally thought it was a great idea. Yay.
All right. Slap the table. All right. Get it together, people.
Do people email that stuff to you? Or
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding, guys? We get every day, my assistants and I are like, I cannot believe this person said this again. It's just like nobody has any manners anymore. What is wrong with people? I cannot imagine. I don't go to someone's YouTube channel if I don't agree with something and comment about it. I don't make a video response commenting about it. I mean,
just
it's
middle school.
absurd. It's my opinion. If you don't agree with it, I really don't give a hoot.
It's
but
okay to disagree with people, but to have to feel like you really have to be heard disagreeing
to
with
go to all that trouble to make videos about it, I mean, I guess that's great because it means we've hit the big time and I'm going to sell $1 million in cookbooks next year. But so that it just helps me. I mean, it just gives me more advertising, so that's fine. And the more people comment, the more advertising we get. But I just don't understand how people have so much time to waste doing all this. It's crazy. So,
Karen, it was about turning your heat down. You said put on a sweater, don't wear a sweatshirt.
or I said, oh, I meant t-shirt. I'm sorry. Okay, so on your heater, turn your heat down to like 65 and put on a sweater or a sweatshirt and don't just wear a t-shirt around the house. I apologize. That was my talking too much too quick. What is a good price for beef roast here in Colorado? It's about $3 to $3.50 a pound is what I pay. If it's more than that, I just don't buy it.
Courtney says, just made your famous orange chicken. Hope you loved it.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. Yay.
Tell it, Tara, you go, girl. Hey, one thing I would say about some of that stuff, I knew some friends who were very, very into environmental things, and there was a big catastrophe, and I kind of felt like that the level of catastrophe was oversold to them. But we would go to a convenience store from work every day, and I had sort of a diet plan I was doing at the time, and I would let myself get a tea. Well, I would go get a tea, and they would get coffees, and I would take my tea in a reusable cup, a reusable plastic cup that I used every time we went. And it was a discount for doing that, but I also was reusing the cup. And even though I'm not super worried about the environment, I did that. But they, who were super worried about the environment and telling me all the time about that, would throw away their foam cups from the coffee every single day. And I was thinking, okay.
But they laughed at him for
I
reusing
think it's
his
good
cup.
to reuse to not waste. But you say that you think it's critically important because we're all going to die. And if that's the case, your actions are not representing what you say or your beliefs. So I tend to think if it's that serious, you shouldn't have any cars or phones or internet or anything, technology or anything.
Yeah.
if it's really, really that serious.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let's see. We dropped the cable and paid off one medical bill. Good idea. Inexpensive meat. I just looked for what's on sale or what's on clearance on Instagram and Facebook yesterday. I put how I got chicken for 49 cents a pound, so you can go see that. Tara, do you sleep well? I do not. right now I switch between sleep medications, but right now I might NyQuil, Benadryl, Valerian, whatever helps you. You can do. Jamie, you need to take an Alka-Seltzer and a hot bath. You look like someone gave you a memory test and you need to sleep. So Jamie, my friend Jamie, her mom is in the hospital and they were testing her for Alzheimer's today, and the test was absolutely ludicrous. She said it was something, and this isn't exactly it, but it was something like, remember these letters, FSMA, and then you had to go and name 5 states or 4 states or whatever that started with all those letters. And then you had to name measurements that started with all those letters. And then you had to name, what was the other thing? Say, I can't even remember the other thing. Then,
was it
numbers. Then you had to name numbers that started with all of those. Jamie and I couldn't do the test. I was sitting there thinking,
a number that starts with A.
what a stupid test.
What would be a number that starts with A?
I think it was M. Or M.
M.
Maybe it was M. I think it was M. Yeah, so anyway. Okay, so I have no idea what the story is being talked about, but just so you guys know, they're talking in the comments on Facebook about the widow who gave her last mite in the Bible. It is about a widow who gave her very last coin as an offering, and the moral of the story is she gave more, even though other people gave more money, she gave more because she actually sacrificed everything she had. So that was the point of that story.
Tina says credit card paid off. What
Woo!
next? Yay, that is
Get the
awesome,
car in the
Tina.
house. Yay!
Hey, one thing I would say, if you, there's no specific person I'm replying to, but if you find yourself getting kind of stressed out about things that are happening in the world, I'm telling you, you need to stop watching the news.
Yeah.
You need to block all those people that you know on Facebook. You can stay friends with them, just hide them. The ones on Facebook that post all the stuff that gets you wired, and because what I'm realizing is it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You can worry about it, but if it's not something you're actually going to take action to change, then you don't need to know about it.
Yeah.
And I always thought that way, but when we were in Europe, it was even more so when I realized all the stuff they were talking about there, I thought, who cares? But then I was looking back when we were there, I was looking at all the stuff that people talk about in America, and I thought, who cares about that when we're in Europe? And I realized all those things that people worry about or get upset about, it's just stressing you out for no good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's something that's so important to you that you're going to make your life's work about dealing with that specific issue, then follow it. But otherwise don't, and you'll have a much happier life.
Yep. Okay, somebody was asking about working like side jobs and stuff. We have on our YouTube channel, go type in side hustles. We have all kinds of job ideas. We have a whole, I think it was like 5 or 6 videos on tons and tons of different ideas for side jobs. So go look at that and you can see all of those videos. It's side hustles. Just type that in on YouTube.
Ooh, Lori paid car off 2.5 years early, applying your
Woo!
tips. Yay! Now don't get another payment.
What do I think about using debit cards? I think it's fine as long as you have the money in the bank. So, I mean, yeah. I think that's okay. There was a comment here. Let's see, where to go?
If you remember a word, I'll search it.
I don't remember. Okay. Somebody was saying how they've been watching us for the past year and they're getting everything in order, and she's cooking at home and she's super excited.
You know what's funny is we're glad that you're blessed, but at the same time, we find that when people tell us that, it's encouraging because we know that what we do is actually helping people.
Lessons or values from childhood that helped us make us what we are today. Mike's family was horrid with money, bankruptcy, many times, all this kind of stuff. He learned it's not worth the stress of being in debt all the time, I would say.
Yeah, there was a lot of
fighting
strife,
and arguing and
a lot of fighting and arguing and strife. And those of you who know that I've sort of shared some of the background of my family and how it wasn't a pleasant way to grow up, and a lot of those things, they took actions that were not good.
Yeah.
But the thing is, on some level, I think in their minds, they probably thought, this is just because I'm stressed out. So whoever was earlier asking about yelling at your kids, that's the same kind of thing. If you're stressed out and you're yelling at your kids, you have a problem. not your kid.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, those things are really harmful. And so learning that kind of really changed how the other thing I realized as far as family stuff is one little statement that you say that's demeaning to your child can damage them in the long term in the future. And when I realized that, I was thinking I have to be exceedingly careful about the kinds of stuff I say when I'm really in a bad mood.
Yeah. Here it was. Love your cookbook and channel. Your tips have been transforming our family for over the past year. I've cooked the recipes dedicated to eating home and started eating smaller portions. My family loves the food, and I've lost 20 pounds. Alicia, you go, girl.
Good job, Alicia.
That is great. That is great. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, good job. Tanya is 10 months ahead on her car loan. Very good. You go. Keep going. Okay, let's see. Any last things real quick
Thank you, everyone who's talking about the news and appreciating that little bit of input. It's funny because I used to have a friend when I worked in television. It really bothered him that I didn't watch news because I was a television producer. And I said, if something really important happens that's relevant to my life, somebody that I know is going to tell me.
Yeah.
And it was true.
Annie, I watched your video on budgeting that you did with your mom. My husband has been saying for years we should not have a budget. I felt we needed one. You guys say no budget. We finally got through. So go look on YouTube. You can find that video, why you should not budget. Now, I know this is controversial, but basically the premise of that is just stop spending money you don't have. So for us, you can have a budget for $1,000 a month for groceries, but you don't need to spend $1,000 for groceries. You can spend $100 unless you're a family of 10 or 15. But for the average 4-person family, you don't need to spend $1,000 a month groceries. I don't care if it's budgeted. You don't need to be spending it. The same is with like car repairs, roof repairs. You can have envelopes for each of these things. But to me, that is so incredibly stressful. Just have a $5,000 emergency savings. That will cover most emergencies. Then get your 3 to 6 months built up. If you have a big emergency, use that money and then rebuild it up again. But people who have these 7 accounts, 8 bank, I mean, there are people who have 7 and 8 checking accounts for all these different things. It's ridiculous. Just make it simple and stop making it so hard. Oh, Crystal, thank you.
Crystal. Crystal, give us a super chat. That's very nice.
So nice.
Wait, did you see this right here?
You have helped so much just for my little family. You have relieved the stress of shopping that I didn't even know I had, and you've saved me over $3,500. Woo!
Awesome,
Justice
Mathilde. That's great.
That is wonderful.
That is really great. Thank you for letting us know.
What do I think about Patriot Food Survival Kits? I think just go on Amazon or Walmart and get some size 10 cans of food. It's cheaper. There's no reason for that. So, yeah.
A lot of things like that and the HelloFresh and some of the other things that people are talking about, those are just kind of convenient ways that are very expensive to do what you could do yourself. So it might be that their marketing makes you aware that you need it, but if that's the case, go get it your own way for a lot less money.
I know, these stupid flies, guys. So here's the thing with the fly.
The fly made an appearance.
If you went diagonal from our house, now you can't go on the roads that way.
I don't think I would mention that part.
But if you went diagonal about a half a mile, we live from a dairy, about a diagonal, about a half a mile from a dairy. And then we are farmland all around us. Flies are crazy here. And we can swat and swat and swat until we're purple. And they just keep coming back. And so we try to get them all swatted, but they come in with Buster, or if the kids open the door, there's a point. You cannot stress about it. See, I had my laxative today, so I don't stress about it.
I mean, want to know. Lucy says, "You guys always make my day a better day." Thank you, Lucy.
Yay!
It makes it a better day for us when we hear those.
That's great. All right, guys, we're going to do a giveaway. I have some classic editions, not the 20th anniversary editions, but I have some classic edition books. So, while I'm going to do my little spiel here, while you guys write in book, if you want to try and win a book, write in on YouTube and Facebook. While we're waiting for everybody to put that in, we have about 250 slightly imperfect Dining on a Dime cookbooks that are on sale for $15. We only have about 250 left. At the beginning of the show, we had 250 left. They're imperfect because the covers are a little scuffed, and sometimes on the binding, they cut them either too short or too long. It doesn't affect anything in the book. I just can't sell it as new. And so if you guys want a cookbook and you don't win one, go check out our sale. Michael put that link in there.
I was going to, but now it's the book.
All right.
Scrolling
All right. You ready? Let's do YouTube. Here we go. Ready?
All right.
Scroll. Stop. We are Kathy Tate.
Woo!
Kathy Tate on YouTube.
All right, Kathy.
Editor at livingonadime.com. And tell me you won a classic dining, please.
It's classic?
Yes, you have to tell me you won a classic dining, guys. You
We have
to
classic
yes.
Oh, sorry.
You have to tell me you won a classic dining, okay? Now, Facebook. Here we go. Stop. We are on Jeannie Gabriel Mullins.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Congratulations, Jeannie.
Email me, editor at livingonadime.com, that you want a classic book. And guys, send me your mailing address also. Everybody keeps forgetting to tell me which book they want, and they keep forgetting to send their address. Even if you've ordered from me before, make sure you send your address so I can make sure, because people move and all that kind of stuff all the time, and it's crazy. So, all right, guys. We are living on a dime to grow rich. Oh, you got it changed on YouTube.
Yes.
Yay!
And I was going to tell you, I was going to ask everybody. So we were only able to implement part of our new equipment to try to make the show better, but it appears to me that we didn't have any problems with it skipping for anybody or anything like that, and the part that's currently implemented should be eliminating that
I didn't mean to
problem.
do that.
Where it would sometimes, the show would sometimes skip or get out of sync or something like that. So if it's looking good to you, or if it's not, tell us so we know.
Yep.
We are trying to get a better camera in place, but that was the part that I worked for 4 hours on today, and it blew up in the end. So we're still working on that. So
Yeah, Mike is frustrated. It's been a lot of work.
So Miss Penn, just so you know, the reason why that's showing up is some people are seeing it more delayed than you.
Yeah.
So they're still seeing
Yeah.
back when it was still happening.
And
so.
we try, but with the live show, guys, we can't. So we are just doing a giveaway every day now. So hopefully you'll keep having turns, and somebody will grab it if they need it.
Yay! Looks
Please
good. Looking great. Looks and
check
sounds
us
great.
out at livingonadime.com.
Yes.
We do not have the classics for sale anymore. Somebody asked that. They are just extras that, as I've been cleaning out the garage, that I've found here and there. And so I'm just using them as giveaways. But we do have the 20th. It is editor at livingonadime.com. Editor at livingonadime.com is where you guys can email me if you have questions. Why can't we do our show on a cell phone? Because we stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And we are a professional show. This is our business. This is our income. And we have to have it looking professional. And our cell service in our area is not great at all. And so we don't want it to be cutting out and that kind of stuff. So because of part of our business, we have to invest in good equipment. So
And a lot of it, we've done phone things when we're away from the house, but it's also difficult for us to manage all the details of the broadcast that way. Fun cooking channel, just for your input. The thing that we have implemented now is a hardware encoder, so it takes the pressure off the computer to compress the video for the internet. So, and that. The computer was sometimes getting overwhelmed with stuff, and so that's what we've already implemented. And now there's some other devices that I'm implementing so that we can put a lot nicer cameras on. And the plan is to get to the point of being able to have more than one camera when we do cooking.
Yeah. And of course, guys, we have tons and tons, over 1,500 recipes and tips, articles, over 1,500 posts on how to save money on our website, Living on a Dime. Over 1,000, or are we up to 1,500? I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 videos on YouTube. Go check those out. Almost every day, not quite, almost every day I post on Instagram. We are Living on a Dime on Instagram and Facebook. And I post my tips and tricks and my deals I find on there. And so all of those places you can find tons and tons of ways to save money. And I'm sorry my paint was disturbing everyone, but I can usually get paint off, and this is on there, so it's going to be a little bit. We're going to be back on Monday, and
Hopefully.
I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I hope we sell out of our 300 books because Dave needs a little extra work.
No.
Doing the shipping for
please.
us. And
Dave's our shipping department. So anyway, all right, guys.
well, thanks everyone. We're so glad you came.
Bye. Good job, all of you paying everything off.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye.
And Simply Joyful says use the baby oil to get the paint off. And
Oh,
somebody
that's a
else
good
was saying
Vinegar or something, I saw.
essential oil, some sort of essential oil, I think.
Interesting.
You ready?
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.